Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we've got an action-packed episode for you. As usual, we've got Jason Cameron on Monday, and he's joining us from the great outdoors again. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Very good, Darren. Very good. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, man, can't complain. Life is good. Had a really great weekend, and I feel re-energized and refreshed and ready to break a lot of stuff down. It's going to be a fun episode. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of fights to cover.
Yeah. I didn't actually see the what date it was, but they said this is the most fights on a fight card in a really long time. I forget what they said, but it was something like the last 15 years they haven't put this many fights on a fight card. So you were right last week. You were like, holy cow, I looked down and there was 8 fights on the main card. This is insane.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, it was awesome, first off, just to watch that many fights and to see guys come back after a very, very short rest, especially our man Chimaev. God, I hope I got his name right. But anyways, just see that guy come back after 11 days. Like 11 days? Are you kidding me, man? That's awesome. Cool stuff.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah. Set a record there, and yeah, I don't see that record being broken for a while. UFC doesn't really like to turn around guys that quick, other than I mentioned earlier to somebody else, Cowboy seems to fight all the time, but they've really been worried about keeping some distance between the guys' fights. But Tanner Boser fought within a month, as Chimaev fight within 11 days, and oh man, a lot of these guys are smart though. They're just staying really ready, and if there's an opportunity, they're jumping on it. And he came in, had his debut 10 days ago, and all of a sudden, boom, he's fighting again, and he looked impressive again. Holy cow!
Oh yeah, he did. He really did. He really did.
Yeah,
look good.
He's talking a big game too. He's saying he's going to take both belts. He's looking at Khabib's belt and said, "I want that." He's calling out guys. Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence. Smart guy so far. He's doing it right.
Well, you know what? It's great to see a young man come in there with all the confidence in the world. And so far, nobody's been able to shake said confidence. So let's see how far he can go.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, we'll break down his fight in a little bit, but why don't we talk about Whittaker Till? Yeah, what a technical war that was. I couldn't believe that they fought 5 rounds at a cautious pace, and Whittaker just kept on the outside. A lot of really great calf kicks, and he looked pretty dominant, and it didn't really give Till much of an opportunity. Till did have that knockdown with the elbow in the first round, but I think Whittaker took the last 4 rounds.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it was a very technical fight. They were each trying to feint each other, so one would try to overreach, and they set traps for one another. It was very cool to watch because obviously, and they were adjusting on the fly as the fight went on. So when Whittaker got caught with that nasty short left elbow by Till in the first round, that's when Whittaker's like, well, I'm just going to have to switch up the way that I enter in on him. If I'm going to rush, then I'm going to have to rush at different times, different pacing and all that sort of stuff. All of those subtleties came into play in that fight. And to the point that where all of a sudden Till couldn't time him nearly as well as what he thought he could. And he was still trying to time him. And he caught him sometimes, but not nearly enough to swing the fight in this direction.
No. Yeah, I'm impressed by Till, but Whittaker just fought a really smart, impressive fight, and just looks like the champion he was. He's probably going to get another title shot, even though it wasn't a dominant knockout or anything. I think the winner between Costa and Adesanya should be facing Whittaker next. You think he's going to get the next shot?
I think if as long as he's ready and if he wants that next shot, then I believe the next shot is his. Because who else in the division would be next up? It would be him, because like that fight with Darren Till. Darren Till, first off, is not an easy fight for anybody, period. He's just not an easy fight. So I can't see anybody trying to leapfrog over Whittaker at this point in time. After the Adesanya Costa fight, it should be his fight. And then plus on top of that, it was still, I found his win very impressive because Whittaker can fight you any way that you want to fight it. He can brawl you out, or he can be incredibly technical as he was in this fight with Darren Till. So yeah, my hat's off to Whittaker. Like, he looked great. He clearly has the edge again to fight, because before he mentioned that he was a little bit burnt out from all the fights that he had, all the training that he's done and all that sort of stuff. And so in a way, this pandemic break, as it were, was good for him. It was very good for him, so he could find that fire again.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was a pretty long break for him, but obviously still at a super high level. And Darren Till is really tough fighter. Just a tough guy to have to battle. And Whittaker was the stronger guy. Really fought a super smart fight. He said he was nervous as hell, and couldn't believe how much his brain had to work through the whole entire fight to get that advantage and win it. But I loved it. Really nice to see so talented technical guys really go to battle and see the victor.
Yeah, and also too, like, I think the thing that really gave Whittaker the edge in this fight was the calf kicks. Darren Till got great poker face, man. I don't think Whittaker ever knew just how compromised his lead leg was throughout the course of that fight. But he kept going back to the corner saying, yeah, that leg's not good. That leg's not good, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So with him being able to compromise him like that, affect his mobility the way that he did going forward in the fight, so his fakes weren't as effective as they usually are, because he usually likes to stamp on the leg as he does the fake. And so since he wasn't able to do that, it compromised his movement somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see a lot of guys utilize that calf kick to their advantage because, once you take too many blows to it, you can't fight the same way. You can't push off on it. You can't, get your same, striking advantages. And, it's a really smart way of swinging the fight in your favor. And I'm really impressed with that. So many camps are putting it into their arsenal, and these fighters are learning, and it's definitely a way to win these days. We've seen it in so many of these top battles.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like it's an effective kick until somebody finds an effective counter to the effective calf kick. Then it's there. People are still going to go to the well on that, which is great idea because it's very effective.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, let's switch to the co-main event. A couple of Brazilian legends in the sport. This was their trilogy fight. They had fought 3 times before, back from 2000 in Pride, 2015 here in the UFC, and then they had another battle on Saturday night. Mauricio Shogun Rua looked really impressive. He went to war with Nogueira, and it was definitely a really good battle, but Shogun took the third fight. I feel a little sorry for Nogueira having to retire with a loss and not being able to avenge those 2 losses to Shogun before. But Shogun still looks like a really super competent fighter.
Yeah, man. Like I was just overjoyed at the old guys getting it done once again. You know what I mean? Like those guys put on one heck of a fight. That was just fantastic to see. Like to still see the fire in both of them, and to still see the fact that like they, there's that ultimate level of competition between 2 legends of the sport, and they put on a great fight. They put on something great for the fans to see. It was awesome to see, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like with Shogun, like he was just able to just, grind out that victory, do the takedowns when he needed to, took the advantages where he could, where he saw fit. And Lil Nog he's just on the short end of the stick again, because split decision win for Rua, which was the same as the last fight that they had before that. And so he's just inches away from always getting that win, but you just can't beat the guy.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate that he has to go out on a loss, but he's got nothing to be ashamed of. Like his record, his fights throughout his career, that's Hall of Fame stuff, buddy. Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, impressive career. Hey, I've seen so many amazing battles with you, facing off against some of the greatest. You and your brother, you got nothing to hold your head down for. You should, both walk into the Hall of Fame as soon as possible. And thanks for so many great fights to be able to, show to the fans in your career. You guys, really entertained and, went into so many great wars. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really, I love seeing old veterans like that. And it was nice that the UFC gave him an opportunity to try to avenge those losses. But, oh man, just to lose another split decision. Oh, it's gotta hit the heart briefly, but hopefully he can get over it really quick and feel really proud of the long storied career he had.
Yes, for sure, man. And also too, you can now relax. You can kick back and relax, because I have no idea why the Nogueira brothers look so freaking old, but they just don't look their age anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So
Weathered, yeah. Been through a lot of battles, those two. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. We also saw Brazilian veteran in the heavyweight fight. Fabricio Verdum really looked good. He's one of the top heavyweight submission artists, and unfortunately for Alex Gustafsson, his heavyweight debut didn't go very well. In 2.5 minutes, Verdum was able to get the submission win. What were your thoughts about this one?
Well, Gus knew what he shouldn't have done. Can't go to the ground with this guy. He went to the ground with that guy, and then that's what happened. But I will say this: Gus looked good in the beginning. He moved well. His movement was good. The weight didn't look horrible on him. I think it still could look a little bit better, but he still looked good. But unfortunately, once Verdum got his mitts on him, he just didn't let him go. Gus almost slipped out like twice in that takedown attempt, but he just couldn't get away from him. And then that was it. End of story. Because once you go to the mat with one of the best in the world, oh man, you got to get out of there. You got to get out of there real quick.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And he tapped so fast to that armbar. I'm glad that he did. It didn't inflict any the long-lasting damage to it. But I really wish the UFC would have been able to put the Mauler against a striker, and we would have just been able to see a big stand-up war. This is what Verdum said he was going to do. He said he was going to take him down, and he was just going to be able to submit him, and he was right. I don't know if it was hard to find an immediate opponent that maybe better suited Gustafsson for a long fight, but I hope it doesn't discourage him enough to make him want to retire again, because he did look good early on.
Yeah, man. I'm the same as you. I hope he's not too terribly discouraged by this. Yes, he did make that mistake, but then so have a lot of other people made that mistake of going to the ground with Verdum, right? So he shouldn't take the loss too badly, it is just his first time in the heavyweight division. And if he's serious, like any fighter, if they're serious about coming back, well, one setback shouldn't put you back on the track of retirement again. You should want to try to get back in there and try to get back that loss and, still have that fire.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah. Let's hope. I'd love to see him again. I don't want him to just, get his heavyweight debut, lose, and then see you later. We want to see him again. We all do. So, let's switch to the women's strawweight fight. Carla Esparza, Marina Rodriguez. Esparza was doing really, really good in the early stages of the rounds, and she went for heel hooks and seemed to, have control of the rounds, decided to abandon them, and then took a lot of damage from Rodriguez. Not enough to lose the rounds, but man, she looked beat up at the end of this, and she eked out a split decision. It could have went Rodriguez's way, definitely. It was tough to see how much damage Esparza took, but it was a pretty spirited battle between these two girls.
Well, yeah, man, and Rodriguez's elbows are lethal and deadly. She cut Esparza open and really messed up her eye from elbows from the bottom, actually. Yeah. And for the few instances that Rodriguez was able to reverse the position and get on top, she maximized her efficiency with damage. Like, she really put the hurting on Esparza. Like Esparza managed to eke out that battle, as far as I'm concerned, in with the top control, but that's kind of about it. You know, like otherwise, Rodriguez kind of got the better of her when they were on their feet, standing up, and so Esparza knew that, you know, for me to win this fight, I got to go down to the ground and I got to take her to the ground. But there was a couple times though where Rodriguez was able to reverse the position, but it was almost like Esparza gave her that. And then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what she was trying to do there. I think two of them, she was trying to go for a submission, but she should have waited a little bit more. Her clock management should have been a little bit better. Like if you're going to go for a submission like that, you know, give yourself like, let's say, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds left in the round so that you can escape damage as much as possible, right? As you go for a said submission.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think her corner was frustrated with her, and it was really shocking that she took the damage and abuse at the end of the first round, and then she did it again and took more damage. And it was very surprising because once she had that top control, she seemed to be able to keep that advantage and have that top control no problem. But she just eked out the win, and I think she needs to put on a better performance next time to move up too much farther in the ranks. She's number 7. Rodriguez was number 9. We'll see what's next for both of these women, but spirited battle. Fun fight to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely a fun fight to watch. Unfortunately for Esparza, I think with that with her win, she still won't move up the ranks in her division. But I think, and also too with Rodriguez with the loss, I don't know if there's going to be much movement within her position too, because it was such a close fight.
Yeah, exactly.
But hats off to Esparza though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so let's turn to this light heavyweight fight between Paul Craig, the Scottish sensation, and Antigulov, the Russian guy. Holy cow, Paul Craig is a scary guy and a lot of fun. I have an affinity for Scottish guys having Scottish blood in me. Great to hear him with his post-fight interviews always. But man, is he ever a really damaging fighter, a submission game that's just phenomenal. I was really impressed with Paul Craig this time.
Oh yeah, man. Like I was impressed with the fact that he just welcomed Antigulov to take him to the ground. It's like, oh, you want to take me to the ground? You want to take me to the Sure, let's go down to the ground. And just as quickly as he went down to the ground, you could already see him set up the triangle choke. Because like Paul Craig is gifted with those long limbs. And anybody long limb like that, you can just wrap those legs around and before you know it, you're caught. And it was almost to me, it seemed like Antigulov didn't realize how much trouble he was in because he still tried to punch the man. It's like, and Paul Craig's just like, it's getting tighter. That's fine. I'll eat these, but it's just getting tighter. He's like a boa constrictor, just slowly but surely just kept inching and crushing. And then before you know it, it's locked in and he has to tap. And he could barely even tap at that. Barely.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing triangle choke. It was super impressive. And yeah, I think Antigulov didn't really, realize how much trouble he was in. He was trying to punch out of it, but I think Paul Craig was welcoming the shots because it was again, sinking it in tighter and tighter and giving him more opportunity to pull this off. And wow, yeah, he is one scary guy. Did you see the stare down when he came across the cage and he was looking at the guy? They actually had to physically pull him back because he looked like he was going to fight before the bell even started.
Yeah, man. Like he had a little bit of the axe murderer staring him a little bit at that point in time where I was just like, oh man, I appreciate that. That's great. And very dominant win by Paul Craig. I've got to think at this point in time that Paul Craig's they got to be setting him up for like an upper level fight now, somewhere close to the top 10, maybe not, but like top 15 for sure. But no, you know what? I take that back. Got to be top 10 right now. I think that guy's deserved that. I think he needs that fight like that of that magnitude.
Yeah, should. Shogun Rua called him out after. I don't know if you noticed that. That might be a really great fight.
Oh, I did not notice that. That would be a great fight. I'm already excited. Man, they gotta make that happen. That would be a fantastic fight.
Yeah, that would
Yep.
be amazing. Yeah, yeah. No, I hope they make it happen. I was impressed. I was impressed that Shogun, went there, and yeah, why not? Let's see how they both go. Paul Craig's, on the uprise. Shogun's a legend. Has fought everybody they could ever name. Yeah, it's definitely a step up in competition for Craig, but I think he's ready and should be fun.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be great. And plus, on top of that, since Shogun will fight forever, I guess, at this point in time. So yeah, man, that'd be cool. I would love to see that fight. I would
Yeah.
love to see that.
Yeah, there's been so many great shoutouts lately, and the UFC has been making a lot of them happen. So, yeah, let's see if they can get pen to paper and make it happen really soon. Yeah, wow, I love it. I will really love it. Okay, let's turn to the welterweight bout between Cowboy Oliveira, Alexis Cowboy Oliveira against Peter Sabata. Oliveira, man, he definitely utilized those kicks and kept Sabata just on the outside. Major amount of great movement from Oliveira, and yeah, just dominated. He took the decision, but 15 minutes really didn't give Sabota much of an opportunity to take this fight at all.
No, man, because Sabota needed to get into punching range. So if he's going to get into punching range, he has to be willing to go into the fire. But unfortunately for him, Oliveira was able to keep him outside with just his kicks, and his body kicks were brutal. Brutal, my friend. Those things were brutal. And so I think that kind of put Sabota on the back foot, saying, I don't really know if I want to go in there. I don't think this is worth it to me. Like it was a very dominant kicking performance by Oliveira. And the fact that I love that Oliveira didn't just rush in like he usually does. He didn't go in there like a wild man. He actually was reserved. He was patient. He took his time, and he picked them apart at distance.
Yeah.
Great win by Oliveira.
Incredible. Yeah, I was really impressed. Yeah, he had come in. He wasn't, being he hadn't come in fresh off very many wins lately, but yeah, he really looked great. And Sabota, yeah, has to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to beat that, because if anybody else sees those tapes, that's what they're going to try to do to keep him away. And you don't want you don't want Sabota hitting you. So keep him on the outside with those kicks. Perfect game plan, and worked incredibly well. So we mentioned Chimaev off the start. Let's turn to his fight. I have some stats here that I just want to read off. His first fight, he outstruck the guy significant strikes 124-2, and this fight was 68-0. So 192-2. He's he outstruck his two opponents so far in his UFC debut. Oh my God! Yeah, he just immediately took Reese McKee, who was making his debut, down and just completely dominated him. Yeah, wow. I think this guy could be the limit for this Chimaev. What do you think?
Well, you know what? I think so too, because apparently McKee was supposed to be a top prospect. Unfortunately, you get a chance to show any of that. But Chimaev, I thought to myself, you know what? His approach is going to be the same thing as he did in his first fight. It was exactly the same, except this time he was better. He didn't get 2 strikes in. He didn't let the other guy get 2 strikes in on him. He let him have nothing. So I was extremely impressed by the young man's performance, and I'm extremely impressed by his confidence in himself, by calling out whoever. Because I think what did he say in his post-fight interview? I'm going to smash everyone. Everybody's going to get it. It's going to be like he says it matter of fact, like it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to go in. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm not going to take any damage. And I'll fight again in a week.
Yeah. Well, he holds a UFC record for the shortest time span between wins, and yeah, he just said, I'm going to smash them all. He said he wants to take 2 belts. He wants Khabib's belt. He wants them all. He just said, I go in there, I fight guys like Gustafsson and Latifi on a daily basis, and I can smash everybody. I know it. There's no way anybody can beat me. And the confidence level, he just he just really has come in and taken the UFC by storm with these two performances, and being in the record books less than 2 weeks into your UFC career. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I also too, what's the other comment that he made that I really liked? He goes, "What? You want me to fight in half hour? I'll be ready."
Yeah.
And I laugh. Oh man, I laughed. I laughed so hard because I'm like, he probably could be ready about half hour. Yeah, he'd be good for that.
Yeah, back to the good old UFC days when they used to fight 3-4 times a night.
Exactly.
He was ready and willing to go. Didn't take one shot, so why not? Hey, somebody else is a little tired. Hey, I'll jump into the mix. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go do it. I just love the man's enthusiasm though. I really do. And two great dominant wins. I don't know who the UFC is going to set him up with next, but I think it's safe to assume it's going to be a step up in competition. I think that's pretty safe. So I don't know if Sean Shelby's just going to be like, well, I'm just going to throw him in the deep end, see if he can swim. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, because they're going back to Vegas now, he probably can't travel, but I've heard that Fight Island is going to be around the corner sometime in September, probably, and maybe October. So, yeah, he'll have to, go back to the gym and train and be ready. And he was a smart guy, saying, "Hey, I'm not leaving Abu Dhabi. I'm here. You need a quick a replacement for any guy. I'm ready to go." And boom, he was there. And didn't disappoint. So yeah, good on him. Way to come in, barnstorm in his UFC 2 fight debut. And I hope they give him a really stiff challenge. And let's see if he says what he wants to do, smash them all. Let's let him prove himself and put him up against somebody that's already proved himself for many years in the UFC.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I hope that they do put him up against somebody like a veteran or some sort, somebody that's definitely going to push him. And let's see if he can do the same thing as he did in the last 2 fights. Oh man. Oh, okay, then he's a scary dude. That's a scary man. Scary man.
Very, very scary. Well, we had a little bit of controversy with this next fight we're going to break down. The lightweight fight between Francisco Trinaldo and Jai Herbert. There was a lot of things that went on during the fight, and then all of a sudden Trinaldo hit Herbert with a amazing shot, knocked him to the ground. Herb Dean ran in there and he got between the fighters, to the side of the fighter, was looking down at Herbert laying on the ground. Trinaldo both looked at the fighter and looked at Herb Dean a couple of times, and then said, "Okay, well, Herb's not calling it. I better give him a few shots." Gave him a few shots, finished it off. You heard Dan Hardy yelling and screaming. What were your thoughts about the little bit of controversy that went on here?
Okay, I understand about the refs trying to give the fighter the benefit of the doubt, right? But the thing is, with that particular knockdown, you could tell that the shot literally shut the man's brain off. It did. He jitterbugged a little bit, and then he stiffened up and fell like a statue. Boom. And so much love to Trinaldo for being a sportsman that he was, saying, "I'm pretty sure this fight's over." Wait, it's not over? Herb, you still want me to hurt this guy? Oh, great. And so I love the fact that Trinaldo only gave him the amount of shots needed. He didn't try to overdo it or anything because he already knew that the fight was done. So did the rest of us watching at home. But whatever. It's up to the ref's discretion on whether he wants the fight to continue or not. Luckily, he didn't let the man rain down shot upon shot. I think he stopped it after 2 or 3 shots. But I don't know. For me, it was just with the way that he fell down. He was knocked down from that punch. The fight's over, man. Fight's over, as far as I'm concerned.
I see. I think for the most part, the biggest controversy came that Dan Hardy was screaming so loud, "Stop the fight, stop the fight." And because they have no fans in the arena, it could be heard inside the cage. And I heard some comments from Herb Dean after, and I really agree with Herb Dean that the only people that should be ever yelling "Stop the fight" would be his corner, would be the doctor, or myself. And, when there's no fans in the stands, announcer has to be put in his place, has to, have enthusiasm and call the fight. But if he's yelling hard enough for Herb Dean to, hear stop the fight, then Herb Dean has to actually look away from the fighter and look to see where this is coming from. He has to look to the guy's corner. He has to look to the doctor and decide, is it somebody that has the authority to call this fight off? And that has the possibility to actually damage the fighter a lot worse. If Trinaldo wasn't the sportsman like he called him and was raining down blows, and Herb had his attention have to look over to see who's actually calling this fight off, then the possibility of a severe damage could be inflicted on a fighter. And so Dan Hardy was wrong on that occasion. And also Dan Hardy confronted him outside the cage and started having a screaming match with him. Dan Hardy's a great announcer, was a great fighter, but should be put in his place with this investigation that the UFC is doing and not step into a job that he's not authorized to do. I thought, it was poor on Dan Hardy to, not only yell that so loud that Herb Dean has to, wonder where this is coming from, but also to confront him outside the cage and belittle him on the cast. I thought it was poor sportsmanship on the part of Dan Hardy.
Wow. Okay, so that part I missed. That must have been the part where I got up to get a beverage. But I did not know that Dan Hardy had gone that far, to take it that far, because first off, Herb Dean's just trying to do his job. He's a ref, man. So you can't really jump on a ref for trying to do this job to the best of his ability. I'm sorry, you can't really do that. And to the respect that you're absolutely right. You can't, you should know when and where to do that. But as we both know, usually when the audience there, you've heard plenty of announcers yell that out, stop the fight, whatever. So maybe there's new protocol now that there is no audience, now that this is the new norm. Maybe going forward, the UFC has new protocols in place to make sure that there's no confusion for the refs trying to figure out who's yelling out what. I can see that now. I can see that. But I still stand by what I said earlier, because I'm sorry, man. It was just the way that the man fell down. And by the way, he was winning the fight up to that point. And I thought he was going to win that fight, because Ronaldo was fading because he missed weight and everything else. And then he got that lucky shot in. And so, it's subjective. It's up to the ref's discretion on whether they want to stop the fight or not. But I'm sorry to hear that Herb Dean unfortunately had to go through all that nonsense with Dan Hardy. Yes, he got a little bit too into the moment, as it were.
Yeah. No, I just, I didn't like Dan Hardy, doing what he did. I think he overstepped his rights and his job description. What he has to do. Herb Dean's a legendary referee, has refereed thousands of fights, and is a fully respected guy. He knows what's going on in there. He said that he saw the guy's hands up. He looked into his eyes. He thought his eyes were still there. His head was off the mat. He was trying to defend himself. I couldn't see into his eyes myself. Herb was right in the middle of the two guys. So I got to give Herb the benefit of the doubt. As you said, Herbert was winning the fight too. So, that might've went into Herb Dean's mind as well, thinking, hey, this guy's, a couple of minutes away from taking a victory. He got knocked down, but maybe he's still got enough wherewithal to continue this fight and win it. That's his call. It's not our call. It's not Dan Hardy's call. But he did get rocked. That was a severe punch, and it really it did stiffen him up and put him to the ground. But the controversy erupted for sure when Dan Hardy decided to actually confront him outside the cage, and it looked like he wanted to fight him. It was not cool at all. It was outside the his job title, and definitely I think the UFC should investigate, because it's not good that how far he took it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And plus, on top of that, Dan Hardy's he's a fighter, right? So it wouldn't end well if he actually took things to another level. So I'm glad that they're going to look into it. hopefully, like for all the announcers going forward, if there's going to be new protocols, there's going to be new this and that, so that everybody's aware, and then everybody stays safe at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So that nobody accrues any more damage than needs to be or anything else like that. So hopefully that gets figured out, and hopefully those two can work together going forward after this.
Yeah. Herb Dean was 2-3 in his MMA career, but definitely not the fighter that Dan Hardy was. So yeah, let's not see them come to blows, please. Yeah. Let's turn to the Canadian Jesse Ronson. He had been in the UFC years back, had some really crushing split decision losses to some really talented fighters. Actually, Trinaldo was one of the guys, and Kevin Lee was one of the guys that beat him in decision back in the day. Left the UFC and went onto the regional circuit. Said he went through hell and back, and finally got this opportunity. He was fighting one weight class above what he normally fights at. He usually fights at 155. So he's fighting a bigger fighter, and Dalby's no slouch at all. But Ronson looked fantastic, and had a really good submission win 2.5 minutes into that first round.
Yeah, man. Like Ronson looked great. He looked fantastic, man. Like he really did. Especially when they got into the ring, and then you could see the size differential between the two men, where you're like, oh no, because it kind of reminded me of another fight that we saw here in Vancouver with Tristan fighting the Brazilian fighter.
Yeah, Tristan Connolly. Yeah.
Tristan
exactly.
Connolly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But Bronson looked great. He avenged all those losses that he just lost before. And I hope that going forward now, the Canadian can actually reap some benefits for his this go around this time in the UFC. And when he sunk in that rear naked choke, beautiful work, man. Beautiful work.
Wow. Yeah, he's called the body snatcher, and he just definitely wrapped himself around Dalby, and Dalby was unbeaten his last 5. Really good, amount of great fighters that he's fought. He fought Cowboy Oliveira, beat him. He was Cage Warriors champion. Fights out of Denmark. Fights with a lot of really good guys in his camp. I don't know, Ronson. Amazing that he stepped up on short notice and was able to fight a much bigger guy, and actually, completely dominate in his submission. That was his 9th submission win, and he definitely loves fighting on the mat. I hope he gets an opportunity to fight his weight class really soon, and then we can really see, how much, he has improved, and he has an opportunity. It's a guy that's going to be similar size.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like, once he gets down to his actual weight category to fight and stuff, and I'm sure we're going to see big things from Ronson going forward. Yeah,
I'm excited. It's really great to see these Canadian guys doing well, and we've got another Canadian to talk about a little bit sooner. I mean, in a little bit, Tanner Boser was fighting as well. He had a great fight, but let's stick to the next fight on the card, which is a heavyweight battle between Tom Aspinall against Jake Collier. Jake Collier actually fought in the UFC at 185, has fought at 205, and now he's fighting at heavyweight, and he weighed in at 264. He's called the prototype. Didn't really look like the prototype type of body, but didn't have a lot of opportunity to do much with Aspinall. 45 seconds, Aspinall knocked him out. Amazing knee up the gut, straight jab, and then boom, put him down with a right. Wow. Impressive performance from Aspinall.
Aspinall has great hands. Yeah, obviously his boxing was on point, and he figured out Collier pretty quick. Like he threw that 1-2 so quick, snapped it in there, and just he knocked him out quick. It was quick, and I believe that was Aspinall. That was his debut, and hey, that's one heck of a debut. Whenever you can knock your opponent out in your debut fight, that's great work. It's great work by Aspinall, and I look forward to seeing more of what he can do. Obviously, he's got his movement, and he's got the boxing on point. Let's see what else he can do.
Yeah, 2 of his teammates were fighting on the same card. Darren Till and Mike Grundy were actually both teammates of his. So the camp, sent 3 fighters the this UFC Fight Night, and yeah, it was a really impressive performance. Both his other teammates lost, so nice for him to be able to take the victory. People were remarking that he was Frank Mir Jr. He does look a lot like Frank Mir, and that was kind of a funny tweet that I saw.
Yeah, man, he does actually. Now that you mentioned that, he does look a little bit like Frank Mir. I don't know if he fights like Frank Mir though. I don't know if he can pull off those submissions like that man can. But again, his boxing looked incredibly good and incredibly effective. Yeah, great win by Aspinall.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn to his teammates fight. Mike Grundy fighting Mozart Alvilev. Alvilev is an undefeated fighter, 13-0, 12-2. Grundy's a really talented fighter, great on takedowns. He's been impressive in other fights that I've seen him on. But Alvilev, had a really good takedown defense. Another one of these Russian guys that seems to have an unlimited gas tank and just outlasted him, took the decision win. How did you like this one?
Well, it was a great fight, and Alvilev he was very, very calm throughout the fight because in that first round, Grundy almost had him out of there. That Darce choke was tight, my friend, and he didn't panic. He did everything that he needed to do just to get out of the movement, got up. And that's what he kept doing. Grundy was hard on the takedowns, but he couldn't do anything with them. Alvilev always found a way to get up. And then also, too, he started to wear on him with his hands. And when he was doing the stand-up. It was a really solid effort, solid win by Alvilev. Like, he's going to be a problem in that division going forward. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just seeing so many amazing Russians coming in and doing really, really amazing things. And man, yeah, like that Darce choke, I can't believe he escaped from it because it was nasty. It seemed like there was no possible way that he was getting out of it. And but yeah, like he stayed calm, seemed to figure out a way and pulled out of it and pulled out the victory. Yeah, it's amazing when you can see a guy under pressure that bad and be so calm. That he's had a lot of experience in the gym and in many other wars to be that calm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he's obviously been put in those difficult positions time and time again. And then also too, like those Russians, the Dagestani, they're just gonna keep coming at you. Like you have to know that. Like if you're gonna fight one of these guys, you're gonna be in it for the long haul. That's what that fight is. It's like it's gonna suck.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was great. Really good performance. Let's talk about the other Canadian on the card, Tanner Boser. He had a fight June the 20th, turned around and had one this weekend. So yeah, really impressive. 2 big knockout wins. He said, this guy was a monster. I had to do what I had to do. Use my footwork, use my boxing ability. He said he felt his knuckle go into his eye, and then he just seized that opportunity and jumped on him. He was no sportsmanship there. It was take this guy out and get my second victory here.
Well, yeah, of course not. Like, he had to take advantage of the situation because Pessoa was like a grizzly bear. The man was as big as a grizzly. And you're looking at Boser going, so that dude's 255, and that guy makes him look like a tiny little man, like a wee man. All right, whatever you got to do to win then. And his punch couldn't have been more perfect. It was so accurate. The knuckle into the eye. How often does that happen? That doesn't happen that often. No. And it looks to me like even as he threw the overhand left, like it was a glancing blow, but it was enough for Pessoa to react the way that he did because, he got punched in the eye. And then Boser was able to take him out. Great win by Boser, man. Great win by Boser.
Yeah. Yeah, I reached out to him in his camp over the weekend and asked if we can get him on. So keep our fingers crossed that he'll come on, make an appearance. I did hear him on local radio here maybe last week, I think it was, or the week before. And really, great personality. I saw him in the post-fight press conference opening some kind of drink with his teeth, and he pointed out, hey, all you got to do is have one of your front teeth knocked out, and you can easily do this, guys. And he's just a hilarious guy. Called out Maurice Green again, so twice now he's called out Maurice Green. Maurice said, yeah, let's do it. So why wouldn't they run that out for the UFC? Another huge guy, possibly the same type of opponent that he's just faced. Do you think the UFC put those two in the cage next?
Well, I think so, because it seems that they're very amenable to getting the fights that the guys want. As long as the other guy wants that fight, it's like, okay, man, we'll make that fight. And Boser, are you good? You want to do it in a week? All right, we'll do it in a week. It seems that turnarounds and everything else is, I understand the guys trying to capitalize on this situation, as it were, because you have the opportunity to try to fight as many times as you can. And plus, on top of that, everything is a little bit more focused. Your distractions are a lot less because of the fact that, the world is finally starting to come around, but things are still very slow as we move forward in time. And so I think it's giving these guys an opportunity to really lock in and focus in on their training, and also lock in and focus in on the fights, because now there's utterly no distraction. You hear exactly what your corners have to tell you. And it's great to see. I think we're benefiting by seeing better fights as we go forward.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, and I agree. I mean, the level of fights that we've seen since the restart, wow. Just weekend after weekend after weekend, we've just been seeing really high level fights, and people coming in to their corners, getting that instruction, going out there, hearing their corners, through the middle of the rounds, and making those adjustments. And we're seeing some of the most high level competition that I've ever seen in the UFC. It's impressive.
Oh yeah, and especially with even the new guys coming in, and then just showing what they got, what they have in their toolbox and their skill set. It's amazing. It's an amazing time to watch the fights right now.
Yeah. There was a few fights on the early prelims. Do you want to get into talking about any of them, or should we move on to the next weekend's card?
Well, yes, actually, you know what? I would like to just talk about just that first fight, the Woods fight,
Okay.
the Woods Castaneda, because I really liked Woods and I really liked Castaneda. Those guys really, I think those are the two up-and-comers in their weight division for sure. And I just love the fight because it was very much a back-and-forth affair in which Woods finally kind of started creeping ahead with his combinations that he was throwing. Woods is, I believe he's trained by Brad Pickett and his crew, and he looked fantastic. I'm keeping an eye on that young man. Woods.
Nice.
Sure.
Yeah. It was a good beginning to the card. A lot of fun for sure. Yeah. I sometimes, when it's a decision early on, I sort of, dismiss it as something that, we should discuss, but I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah. That was a nice beginning to the really long card. It was 6.5 hours of fighting. I was exhausted by the end of it. Imagine having to be in there fighting.
Yes, I know, right? Like I remember as I was going through it, I'm like, oh man, I think I still got 2 more hours. It was a ton of fights, man. It was a ton of fights. But again, UFC knocked it out of the park. They did a great job. And I guess going forward for the UFC, I guess that's one of their hub centers for all the international fighters that they have on the roster, so that they can just fight there. So I guess going forward for them, they either fight in Vegas or there.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to be doing. So it's great because obviously bubbling like that clearly works. It works.
Yeah.
And so, hey, keep it up, UFC.
Yeah. I heard they got a great facility in Abu Dhabi. There is a training camp there. So, maybe many of the fighters will just kind of permanently go there and just be on the availability list. And it worked out in Chimaev's case. And obviously some other guys were on the ready and got some late notice fights. And I think these two hubs are, how it's going to have to work. The other sports that are doing the hubs have, so far seems like it's working. The sports that aren't doing the hubs, no, it's not working at all. So yeah, UFC's had done a really good job with this. It's worked out so well. We've just been able to see so many great fights, and even with some COVID positive cases, which is inevitable. Just been able to see card after card, week after week, and yeah, let's hope it can continue. This is great.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like I love the fact that Dana White just goes, "Hey, the show must go on," but at least he's doing it the right way and making sure everybody's safe as the show does continue. So, bravo, Dana White, bravo.
Yeah. So okay, let's put that to bed now, and now we move on to Saturday, August 1st's card. Main card starts off main event with Derek Brunson against Edmen Shahbazyan, and I think Shahbazyan has looked impressive. The KO of Brad Tavares with the head kick knockout was impressive. Shahbazyan's looked pretty good, but I think this is a little bit too high of a level of competition. Brunson's faced all the top guys in this division, and I think he'll be able to take out the win. What do you see happening?
Well, Shahbazyan is still undefeated, right?
Yep.
And I cannot remember if Brunson is actually coming off a win himself from his last fight. But regardless, Brunson that's the highest level of competition Shahbazyan has ever faced. And at some point in time, he has to face somebody at this level. So this is his crossroads fight to see if he can make the leap into the elite category of fighters. I am interested to see if he can do it. I, like yourself, I have my reservations because maybe he needed another fight, like just slightly lower than the caliber of Brunson before he jumped up to a Brunson. But I guess we shall see. We shall see how he fares. And also, too, this will be Shahbazyan's first time in a 5-round fight. So that could also be something that he's going to have to deal with. He's going to have to train a lot harder than he normally would because it's a 5-round fight.
He's only actually been out of the first round one time. He's only actually been out of the first round one time, and that was a decision win. All of his other fights, ended really quick. Before he got into the UFC, I think he fought some, quite low-level competition. UFC, really, he hasn't faced anybody that's, big name. Tavares, I guess, you can call him that, but he's sort of a middle-of-the-road type of guy, in my opinion. So, I think this was a little bit more than he's anticipating, and we'll see. He comes out of Ronda Rousey's camp, and I haven't been impressed with some of the fight strategies that Edmen Shahbazyan has employed. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I feel like Brunson probably should take this.
Yeah, because like with Edmen, I'm glad that you mentioned him because he's just been lucky enough that he's had these all-star caliber fighters come into his camp and just drop into his lap. And so if you got guys that are that good, they'll get away with it with their pure talent. But eventually, talent isn't everything, and you're going to actually have to have your coach. Coach. And I don't know if Edmen is the best person in that category. We've seen great coaches, but I personally would not consider him a great one. So I hope. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the sport. We can break it down as much as we want, but we'll just have to see what shakes down when they actually enter the cage and get an opportunity to prove their worth. Some guys have surprised us and blown us away. Never thought they had the potential that they reached, or just couldn't wouldn't pull off a victory that they have, and we'll see. I feel like he did harm to Ronda Rousey's career and Travis Brown's career, and I liked him in his early Ronda Rousey days because Rousey was utilizing her best abilities by sinking in the armbar and constantly beating all the women that way. And then suddenly I don't know, just seemed to convince her that she could stand up with Holly Holm and you know, some of these killers. You know, it just didn't work out for her, and you know, she's out of the UFC. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I hope he's employing a different strategy with this guy.
yeah, or he has like great assistant coaches to say maybe you should try this. Yeah, I think that would work.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out. We'll find out, man. And yeah, like you said before, yeah, like trying to incorporate strategies where it's like, yeah, you should stand with Amanda Nunes. That's a great idea. No, man, it's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea.
Not good. Yeah, to stand with Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey, and you know, she had an opportunity. If she took that fight to the ground, she might, you know, might have continued being the champion for a lot of years. You know, but employing that strategy obviously didn't work, and Ronda Rousey's career has come to an end. And yeah, it's yeah, I hate when I see coaches, you know, mess fighters up where you know they have an advantage over their opponents, and then they you know somehow abandon that game plan and go with something else. Doesn't work too often. We saw it work with George St. Pierre, you know, being able to beat anybody at their game, but most fighters should stick to what they're best at, and you know they can have a really long, successful career.
Yeah, man, but you know, like when fighters of that caliber can do that, that's because they're Hall of Famers. They're the best to have ever done it. That's why you can beat people at their own game. But normally, you want to try to always play to your strengths as opposed to play into your weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the fight game's all about.
Yeah. Speaking of mistakes, I think Joanne Calderwood's making a mistake in this co-main event against Jennifer Maia. Calderwood had an opportunity at the belt with Valentina Shevchenko, and yeah, she's trying to do this tune-up fight. She didn't need to. They were already giving her the belt opportunity, and you know, I think Maia's dangerous. You know, if Calderwood gets beat here, I don't know if that derails her title shot. I know I don't like the move.
Okay, I kind of get it. I kind of get where her head's at, because she's thinking to herself, this is pretty much the most dangerous fighter, the most skilled fighter I've ever fought in my life. So if she personally in her head feels mentally she's not quite there, then that means she isn't there, and that she should take this fight, because as you know, in the fight game, it's all mental. And so if her mentality is, I feel like I just need one more little fight to get in there, and then I can fight this woman. All right, cool. But then also too, she realizes everything that she's worked up till to this point can be lost, because if she doesn't win this fight, then she won't get that shot. So it's a big risk for her. But if she capitalizes on it, then hopefully she'll go into that fight with Shevchenko and well, probably still lose. But anyways, but you know, she'll at least have that behind her. She'll have that confidence knowing going forward that yes, I beat that last fight. It was a hard fight, and now I can go forward, because she's going to have to bring everything to the table to try to derail the champ, because she's one of the best to have ever done it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully you're right. Yeah, if she you know can beat Maia. Maya's been you know mixed martial arts fighter since 2009. Has a you know very impressive resume of people she's beat. She beat Jessica Andrade before. She's beat Roxanne Modafferi twice. Alexis Davis. She did lose to Chukagian, but so did Calderwood. And yeah, so Calderwood has you know had some really amazing performances, and then some other ones where you know she just didn't seem to have it. So yeah, let's hope she brings her A game and brings you know the best of her ability into this cage, because Maia's a dangerous opponent. This Brazilian you know has been in a ton of really impressive wars. She belongs to that Chute Box Academy, which is you know one of the best camps in the world, and you know, she faces a lot of really amazing women on a daily basis. So, yeah, I wouldn't have done it if I was in Calderwood's camp. I wouldn't have accepted this fight. But let's see. Let's hope she can, you know, prove me wrong.
Yeah, man. Like, Oh man, yeah, that's a tough one, but because that is not an easy opponent. She has a lot to lose, like you said. But again, it's that state of mind of a fighter. It can be quite fragile at times. Like, sometimes Calderwood with how she is, she kind of reminds me of Rose Namajunas. Reminds me of Thug Rose. Like if she's not quite there, then she's not there. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think if this is what she needs to do, then this is what she needs to do. So you know what? Good luck to you. I hope we see a great fight. I have no idea if you can win that fight, but I think it's going to be pretty close. And I think it might be quite technical, actually. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we started experiencing a little bit of audio difficulties from your side. You're sounding distant and not easy to hear you. Can you try again?
Okay. Yeah. So, like what I was just saying before is that technically, it's going to be a technical battle. I believe on Calderwood with Maya for sure.
Okay.
And
great.
I think
Yeah.
going forward with that fight is going to be interesting to see for sure.
Good.
They both bring something different to the table for sure.
Okay. Yeah, we're still hearing you sounding distant, but yeah, I guess we'll just soldier on, and yeah, I guess that's the way it's going to be. Hopefully, it fixes itself. Yeah, you sound distant now for some weird reason, but I do want to break down the Randy Brown Vincent Luque fight. Randy Brown being the American Jamaican, he's probably a little bit of a favorite of yours. But speaking of biting off a little more than he can chew, I think Luque might be a little bit too tough for Brown. But what are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I really like this fight. Like I love this. I love this fight, man, because like I love what Luque brings to the table. I love what Brown brings to the table. They're both very, very exciting fighters, and they're both down to bang hard. You know what I mean? Like, so I do not know who's gonna win this fight. I've probably been pulling for my boy Brown. I'm not gonna lie. I've probably been pulling for him, but Luque is super dangerous, man. It's gonna be a great fight. To be honest with you, actually, going forward, I love these next three fights. I love them all.
Nice.
Like, these next three fights are great.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The Bobby Green Lando Venata is going to be fun. I love watching Lando Venata fight. He's he win one, lose one, win one, lose one, but he always goes in there and has an amazing battle. These guys fought before and fought to a draw, and they ended up in a draw because Venata was deducted a point for an illegal knee. So he would have won the decision if he didn't, be deducted that point. But I'm glad they're running it back. These two guys are, really great matchup for each other. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I totally loved that first fight. That first fight was fantastic. And so I am super excited to see what this fight's going to look like. I'm pretty sure Venata is not going to be doing any illegal knees this time. I think it's going to be a very clean fight, but it's going to be a super exciting fight because I love the way Venata fights, and I like the way that Bobby Green fights. It's going to be good. I can't wait to see it.
Awesome. Yeah, and Kevin Holland, Trevin Giles should be a really great war too.
Yes, man. I like that new kid Holland. I like the length that he uses and how he tries to keep distance and stuff. And dude. I'm really looking forward to that fight as well. I'm just looking forward to these three fights. Each of these three fights to me have the potential for fight of the night, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Forget it. I want all of them to be fight of the night. That's what I want to see. I want to see all of them.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. They should throw in a few extra 50,000 prizes for some of these guys because it must be hard to figure out who you're going to give fight of the night to because there's been so many amazing wars lately, and it's just so fun. I think the matchmakers are doing a really good job. They're really putting some amazing battles together, and you're right, those three that should be a really fun main card. And the fights just keep coming fast and furious. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really glad we had a really great card this past weekend, and I'm sure we're up for another one and another one, another one. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see the trilogy fight between Stipe and DC. So lots to look forward to this August as we come into the month of August.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, for sure.
It's going to be fun.
It's
Okay, well,
fun.
let's move away from the UFC and talk about some of the most important topics that are coming out this weekend. First of all, let's get into the Seahawks. Huge trade for Jamal Adams. Adams said he wasn't happy in New York and started making a lot of noise, saying, "Get me out of here." Seahawks obliged, sent their cornerback to New York, and 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick to get Adams. Really steep price, but Adams is considered one of the top safeties in the league. And the Seahawks said, "We're going in. We're going to do it." And good on them.
Yeah, man. Like I know that they gave up a lot, 2 firsts and a third, but Adams an All-Pro safety. Hopefully, he's going to be happy with this new move with the new franchise, and he won't be as disgruntled as he was with the Jets, because if that happens, then that wasn't a move that the Seahawks should have made. But I'm sure that he should be overjoyed to be out of the Jets organization and with the Seahawks now, for sure.
Yeah. Well, training camps are set to open this week. They're wanting to get them in, give them daily tests, and test this new protocol that they've got going on. Let's hope they can pull it off. I don't think it's going to happen. I really doubt that they're going to be able to pull off a 16-game season. Football being such a contact sport, one guy gets it, he's going to have the whole team having it. I hope I'm wrong, but let's see. At least they're gonna start this training camp starting tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Like I just have a problem with the fact that they're going to be going to all the arenas, and we've seen the tremendous spike in COVID cases throughout the entire country, the US of A. So I don't know how they can take in all those variables to make sure that the players are safe and the staff is safe for all the teams. Like I think there's just too many variables to account for. But you know what? I guess we'll see once they get back on the field and see how it all shakes out.
Well, the only other team sport that decided not to go into a bubble was baseball, and baseball was rocked today with the Miami Marlins having 13 guys or 13 people from the Miami Marlins organization test positive. They've had to at least cancel the next couple of games for the Marlins, as well as the Phillies against the Yankees, because the Phillies faced them this past weekend. We're only into our 4th day of baseball, and already one team's been rocked by this, and they didn't even do any traveling yet, which is coming for all these teams. So, what do you think? That's pretty bad.
Well, yeah, man, because that's what every team should expect if they're going to be traveling from state to state, playing all their games. You have no idea what team will catch what, who's going to catch it, and then how quickly it will spread throughout the team. You just don't know, because you can't control everything. Like if you're in a bubble, then you have more control. But if you're just going from state to state in all the arenas, you have no control over that. So this is something that MLB is going to have to continue to keep monitoring, and same as the NFL. Yeah. So I wish them luck, but I don't know if this is going to work out so well.
No. We had NBA released results that they had 0 positive tests this last round of testing, and NHL revealed that between July 18th and July 25th, there was no positive tests. They did 4,256 tests to more than 800 players, and they had zero positive tests. So they're about to embark on, they've all walked into these bubbles the past couple of days. They're about to embark on a preseason game this week, and then the games start for real on Saturday. NHL's done it right. NBA's done it right. These bubbles so far are working.
Yeah, man, for sure, because the bubble system does work. I'm sure that they talked to the right people, the right experts, and said, well, if you really wanted to try to go off without a hitch, you're going to have to do some sort of bubble system, which is what they've incorporated. And so the NHL, with them being here in Canada, they're even better off because, well, we're not the U.S. So the NHL, I think, is in a great position to go forward, to be safe. And I believe the games should go off without a hitch. Now, for the NBA, I think they're going to be good as long as none of the players break quarantine.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but we shall see as they go forward, because I am definitely looking forward to the fact that the NBA season is going to be starting in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Lou Williams got an excused absence to be outside the bubble. Knew that he was going to get some quarantine once he came back, but he told somebody that he visited a gentleman's club that he likes going to. They have some chicken wings on the menu that are actually called the Lou Williams wings. He partook in that, and he's received a massive amount of criticism, and they've decided that they're holding him out for 10 days, I think it is. He's going to miss a couple of games on the schedule for the Clippers. I don't think he should have been criticized for where he went to have some lunch. But what were your thoughts about hearing all this?
First off, they got wings after him, so I think he's been there before, eh? And also, too, man, like, he had an excused absence. It doesn't particularly mean that he can only do what he's supposed to do for his excused absence. You're out now. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. You're a grown-ass man. You're going to do what you feel is necessary. And you're going to be as safe as you need to be, right? Because let's be honest here. As soon as anybody steps outside that bubble, you're at risk. Doesn't matter what you do or where you are, you're at risk. Because clearly the leadership of the United States doesn't really care about how COVID measures are being done in that particular country. So I can't kill a guy for doing that, because he could have caught it from just going to the grocery store or opening a door or anything of that measure, right? So it is what it is. And I look forward to him when he can join his team again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, poor Lou. Hey, come on, give the guy a break. He needs to eat. We all need to eat, and the wings are named after him. Hey, he's gotta go there and order them. Come on, you got to make sure they stay on the menu. So I'm not gonna throw him under the bus for doing that. I want to end on Seattle Kraken. Big announcement. Canucks have finally got a really close rival, only a 2.5 hour drive down the I-5 to Seattle, and they decided they would forego having a team name, about the general Pacific Northwest region. Let's just go for the Kraken. How do you I think you like the name, don't you?
I love the name, man. I love it, man. I think it's fun. I think it's definitely very marketable. I've heard some opinions, like Wilbon, Michael Wilbon, he hates the name. He hates it because I don't think he likes fun anymore. So whatever, man. That's fine. If you don't like, have fun and stuff, I get it. You're a traditionalist, and they should just be named something like boring, like Seattle Sailors or something. I don't know. Whatever he's thinking. But either way, I love the name. I love the marketing strategy for the new NHL team. And it's been too long. They should have had a team in that city, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago. So I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait. I really could care less what they're called. Call them anything. We got a team. We can, drive down the I-5 and go see. They'll have a really amazing rivalry. We'll be able to see a lot of Seattle guys come up here. And, fuck, the Canucks have not had a rival close enough. And, we finally do. And you're right. They should have had this done 10, 15 years ago. They had that Key Arena. They lost the Sonics. They should have put a team in there many, many, many years ago. It's always been a hockey town. I live down there, and I'm so glad we're finally going to get to see the Seattle Kraken play against the Canucks. So it's going to be amazing. Great battle.
Oh yeah, man. I'm super excited. I can't wait to go down there with you to go see some games and stuff, and see this rivalry blossom into the way it should have been 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And then also on top of that, And there's only one other thing I need to see out of Seattle, which is get back their basketball team. If they can do all of those things, oh man, I'm gonna be happy, dude. I'm gonna be happy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, most arenas want to tenants, they want to be able to, put in basketball and hockey, and, can't see why we can't have the basketball back there. And then, inevitably it should come back here too. And then, we'll be able to have rivalry in NHL and NBA between the two cities. And it's been great between the Sounders and the Whitecaps. And, finally we're going to get to see it in another sport. And now the NHL, is coming back, but the NBA should come back too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and well, yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to everything coming back online again, like with the NHL, the NBA, with the NFL, like all of it. Yeah. And I just hope that everybody stays as safe as they possibly can going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I was disappointed to hear about baseball today, but this is an exciting week. All these sports are coming back. NBA's had some scrimmage games. The games are starting for real. The NFL training camps are open. Baseball had games over the weekend. Hockey's here. Games starting tomorrow, preseason or pre-playoff games, and then playoffs start for real on Saturday. So have a great week, everybody. Enjoy all the sports coming back, team sports. I'm glad we've had these individual team sports like UFC that we've been able to break down, but it's just going to be so fun next week to be able to talk about some actual real games and have Jason here again. Always a pleasure. The time went by so fast, but I'll send you on your way. Thanks so much, Jason. It was great.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Cheers. Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, that was that was fun, man. It's always just so great to be able to talk to Jason, because we can talk about so many different sports and get an opportunity to have some laughs and have some really great insight. So thanks again for joining us for another episode of Complete Sports Media. I really appreciate all the support. Everybody's been really fantastic. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all your really kind words. Really appreciate it. This has been so much fun. It's been an amazing month, and we're getting to finally break down some real live games coming up. So love you lots. Take care. Bye for now.